everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are going to be taking a look at the second round of the No Limit Challenge from Kingdom Legendary War. So these are going to be all of my analysis that I did of each individual group before I took a look at the episode to see what the results were. And so keep in mind, a lot of my feedback is not only going to be tailored to what I have already seen, but also it will be refined as I did watch the episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. But I digress. SF9. This is my onest of the season. I'm really rooting for them to do well. Huh. We're using Taemin's move. Oh, I bet it's cold. They are cold. I'm telling you that right now. Yeah, look at them. It's cold. I'm so sorry. Cool. I mean, first things first, they could have totally done an entire portion of their dance in that room. That would have been freaking sick. Converting it over, instead of it being at the tail end, having it interrupt in your middle, do all of this and then just dance there. Of course, once you're wet, you're wet. So that could be your big grand finale. It kind of did feel a bit like, okay, we added this in, why? I don't know. I mean, of course I know with Move, it's because of what I already know. What I know with Move, there are multiple versions of it. With Taemin, you have like him being soaking wet with Koharu, but also soaking wet in the music video and performance version for sure. So it feels like we're paying tribute to that. I very intrigued at the beginning of this, and I think they built it pretty well. It kind of felt like you have this manufactured bland, like there's no color involved, and then over time it starts to turn into a color acid trip. It kind of had that little acid trip moment, but then we had like we're full of color, we're bringing color into a world of bland. I that felt very, you know, universal with the usage of like more of a mannequin, like robot clone vibe. And I thought it was very interesting that they chose Move to do that with, because Move has that sultry, sensual, androgynous vibe about it. I think that's so freaking dope. Like that was very, very interesting why they chose that. But it works. It did work. I think there was just a couple spots that I think if they made a different choice or they went about it in a different way, I think we could have had a potentially different result, possibly. The smoke right here in the beginning. Very clear walk. They go, they walk, and then you have, he comes in. That was really cool. Very clear. Dink. Okay, the people that are, you know, in those bobs, they are manufactured in some way. Because when you scan something, it's when you're at a store, so it's an object. So they're known as like objects, but he is not an object because he didn't scan, because it showed red. And then right here, he does a fantastic job of doing Move. There is more, if you notice Taemin versus Koharu, they do it differently. So I think whenever you see somebody interpret Move, he's very similar to how Taemin does it, but Taemin does it very differently than Koharu, so I think there's beauty in differences there. So I like that. He comes up, branches it down. This is the iconic choreo. He branches it around. Only reason why I've learned it. We have no color. Cool. I like that. And you have the little taking place too. Really cool. Rhythm. Very smart to not have color there. And then you have, he's in black, but once again, color is still kind of absent in this. Subtlety there. I like the transition, creating a nice moment with the twinkling of the fingers and allowing the hip to have a nice legato transition in it. Subtlety here. Ladies are on the ground, bringing it through. Boom, boom. Honestly, I think the girls, they do have a sense, they have some like sensual movements, but it doesn't look nearly as sensual as how our guys are dancing. Whoo, because they do it really well, not gonna lie. They do a fantastic job of really taking ownership of the choices that are being made. Having, you know, nice choice with the legato of the hips, but I'm thinking of them more as, I mean, I don't treat humans as objects, but they establish that those in the bobs are like people who are lifeless, right? And so them doing those moves, it kind of feels like there's no purpose or intention behind it because of how they established it in the concept. But that's really good because I think that's the point, right? It's cool. Because again, I like the subtleties of the shoulder rolls, the breath. There's blue, color blue is coming. There's a little, I like this choice right here. So you have, honestly, you have some screens back there, like the branching that feels like a tree. I also really like the fact they have somebody completely just hanging out right here, you know? Cool, dope. And you notice that they have two different kind of glasses. She takes it from behind. They're both clear. He looks over. Pours it in, changes the color entirely to something darker. That's cool. So he's turning too bland, he's turning things into color. So I love that little effect. We haven't technically had that effect yet in the show. We've had fire. He goes, he brushes it through. That was nice. And then of course you have that little, you know, little mark there. Da-na-na. So right there, I like the commitment of the dancers and commitment of the performers. That really helps carry with this. And then you have, notice with their gloves have a darkness behind it, so it kind of feels like we're being influenced by color, right? And then you have the little fog and ink in the back. Now this next phrase, I'm going to say this now. I've never really been able to say it yet until now. But whenever they have, there's like a certain syllable sequence they do here. It sounds like Jessica. Listen. Jessica. I think they're talking to me sometimes whenever they say that. I'm like, what? That's what I think, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I hear that part, Jessica, yes, Taemin, what would you like? But I know they're not talking about me. That's fine. I like having somebody be that little petal, that bud in the middle, and then you have them all circle around. Really cool. Then the choreo is different here. Honestly, it's very impressive how they did choreo on the stairs. Just like the elevation, the dropping down is very impressive. Oh yeah. Hitting it through. Ba-da-da. My one note, I would have really liked it if it was crisp and clean, like crispy clean on this part. But of course, it's pretty clean for the most part. And I'm very intrigued on how much time they were able to spend together, because I do know in the first challenge they didn't really spend a lot of time. So I'm always impressed with this group in particular. Their best set, long shot, is Steeler. That was incredible. Here is really cool. I would say this would be their second right now for me out of their challenges. I like the melt there. That was nice. Little tease, rotating it through. Once again, you still have the texture and posture of how Move operates in the original choreo, but you're able to see it be the SF9 equivalents, right? I like that. Nice declaration. Of course, like they're pushing and they're creating energy in their chest. Wow, nice and full. But you notice that some of their range in their arms was just a little different. That's like presenting, then they go doo-doo-doo, you hear in the back, they're using the hands to emulate that, ding-ding, and then they bleed it through. Love that. That right there, that was crisp. Love that choice. Then right there, they use it to kind of create a nice boogaloo-ish influence in the ISO on that. Then there's a snap, present, that dee-dee, that is similar to Taemin's overlap in choreo. Nice. Now this part right here, they do very well. Wow. That was an appropriate aerial shot. If you're gonna go for it in that way, they went for it. That was, I bet people are like, whoo, that was very well done. All of them did it well. Nice kick on that too, and there's your head ISO. So it kind of feels like they combined all the courses a little bit to create a nice little hybrid. I think that's cool. They go expand the knees out. They branch up, and then this part's really cool. I honestly think this is probably one of the coolest parts. It's the dancers for me. That is so cool. And just him just having to walk like a freaking model. Your lips, hips. Duh, duh, duh. And they're all different colors. Golly, that honestly, that was freaking sick. Kid you not. So cool. There's the head nods. Cool. Nice. Color, and it red confetti. I liked that. Color, and then now the color, red light, boom, cool. And once again, it feels like we're in a you know what, an assembly line. They kind of established that throughout. Nice imagery throughout it too. Show your color sign, the way she looks. These words are a freaking tease. Look at those lips. And it turns me on. Ooh. There's that diddy. Of course, they have like a color in their glass. So it feels like we're influencing the bland individuals to have some color about them. Some flavor. I'm the male version of Venus. Then turn on the lights. Cheers. And then he's right there. As the trip's about to commence in 3, 2, 1. That part is what made me go, you know, it kind of feels like, welcome to the color world, and they're freaking glitching it in the back. Like, that's so fascinating to me. Bridging it through, honestly, having with the rainbow LEDs, switching it, very interesting for me. The pull through, boom, boom, cool. Nice on the little crab walk, doo-doo-doo-doo, heel toe. I like where they took the lights, then you took one of your dancers, boom, nice little usage of the leg on that part. Boom, 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 boom. Notice that was a fun little add-on how it travels from stage right to stage left. So it kind of, they're doing a lot of like micro builds with the formation, which is cool. They go boom, boom, nice. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Also, they feel like they're in the same rave. I mean, it's a different rave, but same town of rave that ATEEZ was in with their Ode to Joy. You know what I mean? I feel like everybody's clubbing it out, just in different worlds. I find that so fascinating. Nice fog. It's cool. He goes, he throws it. Boom. Dope. Could we have possibly, instead of doing it there, we did it in the rain room? Maybe. That would have been interesting. Because we've now reverted back, so it kind of feels like we had this weird acid trip and now we're back to the real world. Maybe, I don't know, like we've had a vision of the beauty of color and they have all the dancers are creating nice little trace moments. It kind of feels like, oh, I'm starting to feel that I have life within me. It kind of gives off that vibe. Cool. I'm always a fan of whenever you see walks and transitions on tempo. It feels intentional, it feels purposeful, and I think with all the dancers they picked, they did a great job. The dancers are doing a fantastic job of commitment. Yeah! And then we have this right here, where they're not there anymore. I mean, I loved this visual so much, and now it kind of feels like the dancers aren't there anymore. It kind of feels a bit anticlimactic, but I understand that we're building it to somewhere. Drops down, then you have the dancers kind of walk away. I love the nonchalant, just like explosion, and with the confetti, it's, you know, we're exploding confetti of color, and so we're gonna see a ton of color. There's our sensualness once again. Boom, boom, ooh, goodness. And then I really like the drops of all the different colors. That was really cool. Very animalistic right there. That was dope. There's that wound, my guy, Mr. Crop Top right here. Goodness gracious, dude. Whew. Yeah. Whew. Ugh. Pop off. Wow, turning it through. And then I love that boom, tension. Once again, the tension here is in the same tension family or texture family that is in Taemin's original choreo. So I do like that because it kind of feels like we're paying tribute to what makes the beauty of the choreo to the track what it is, but we're putting our own SF9 perspective on it. So I do appreciate that for sure. Hitting it through, nice trace, and then bleeding it up the thigh. Guys, right there into a dolphin. Ooh. Yeah, goodness gracious. I like this step out. So they're building it up instead of it just being slow. They're double timing those legs as they extend that arm out, make it a fun little polyrhythm movement. Fun. And then we create that. So all this upper body, the lower body looks like we're on, you know, that walking whatchamacallit, that you saw in the assembly line in verse 2, it kind of feels like that, but they're in place. But then you see all of this upper body pay tribute. It's Taemin choreo, you know, or Koharu's choreo to move. Like, I really like that hybrid. That was super dope. And it builds up to a cool place. We melt, and then everybody is down and low. And then right here, you have the drop. So I see that with the lights. Cool. And we're walking. So I guess my thing is I'm curious as to why we like finish in this room. Gosh, you're so... I just feel really bad about the fact they're probably really, really cold. Let's see who's cold. My guess is my guy right here. My guy right here. Somebody else that looks cold. I think he ended up looking pretty cold. Let's look. Ready? I'm so sorry. I mean, for me, I like the idea of rain. I really do. It's a super dope element. I'm just not quite sure, outside of paying, you know, homage to Taemin's music video, I don't know the intention or purpose behind it in reference to the entire concept they had built. Even with that little acid trip, you know, I could kind of piece something together with that. Here, that's the only thing I can connect it to, and I would extend the same, you know, note to them as I would to Stray Kids with the Deadpool, you know, superhero kind of theme concept. You don't want it to have to rely upon outside information for me to understand your concept. I think they had it pretty strong. They did a pretty good job for the most part. It's just this tail end. If I didn't know what I know, like if I didn't marathon Shiny or Taemin, like I would not have any clue how we would be tying this rain together. Maybe it's cleansing of our, like the rain is signifying just being rained on color. Like that would be my guess. But part of me wishes it was actual like paint that's being rained on them and they're like completely being covered. That would be cool, but also that could probably turn really, like, they could turn into Carrie from a horror movie very quickly in that way too. So I'm assuming they're just using the, like, the backdrop to kind of signify what that rain is it's similar to the type of colors that you saw in the course. Yeah, he's cold. They're cold. That's okay. That's life. It happens sometimes. They're like, can we please stop filming? Is really what this looks like. Cool. I mean, in general, I mean, I really liked that. That should place pretty well. At least I'll do my little lineup of who I think in my personal top 6 and why. I mean, they're all going to be in it, but just my order after I look at the last one. But that one, they did pretty good for the most part. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch. If you want to see more of my analysis or perspective on any of these groups through their time on Kingdom Legendary War, I have some challenges that just could not make their way onto YouTube due to copyright, but they are on Patreon waiting for you, as well as full episode reactions to boot with refined feedback. So once again, my name is Jess, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.